I'm Mia Ash. I'm a 21-year-old college student, and I am participating in the Mother-Daughter Project. I'm Patience Barksell. I'm 15. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I am participating in the Mother-Daughter Project.
Naomi Carpenter. I am 29, an IT business analyst, and I am participating in the Mother-Daughter Project.
I'm Taryn Johnson. I'm 18. I'm a senior in high school, and I'm participating in the Mother-Daughter Project.
Hi, I'm Taylor Spencer. I'm 32. I'm a business owner, and I'm participating in the Mother-Daughter Project.
Hi, I'm Tina Jackson. I'm 41, a business consultant, and I'm participating in the Mother-Daughter Project.
Hi, I'm Deandra Brown. I'm 25. I'm a marketing representative, and I'm participating in the Mother-Daughter Project.
I'm Tori McClory. I am 20, a college senior, and I am part of the Mother-Daughter Project. All right, ladies, let's get started. So I know when we first started this, it kind of stemmed from a conversation that I had at 15 with my own mom, and kind of taking her through the steps of kind of seeing not where she went wrong, but so she could evaluate and kind of reflect on her differences as she raised me, and then raised my brother differently, raised my sisters. And then she talked to Miss Dawn, Terrence's mom, and now we're here. And we really just want to grow our relationships with our moms and appreciate them. So going to my first question, what do you appreciate the most about your moms? What would you say is the first thing that you can say that you really just love when you was growing up?
Mm-hmm. The thing I appreciated most was her just willingness to feed into not only us as children, but into our individual person. She always made it sure that, each kid was loved in their own special way. And me and my sister are totally different. Even though we're so close, we're so different. And she made sure she loved us in the way that each of us wanted to be loved. And she always made sure that education was drilled into us, our independence, never depend on anybody, never, which is a good and a bad thing. And just kind of instilling us that principles and morals that nobody can take away from us. Because at the end of the day, we can have, love and all this great stuff, but she really wanted us to be independent within ourselves.
I feel like for me, I appreciate how much my mom supported me. Growing up, I was always, and still to this day, I'm always into stuff, always trying to be a part of something new or try something new, or, just extremely ambitious since a young age. And my mom was always a number one supporter. No matter what it was, no matter how crazy it was, no matter how much it cost, she was just there. And I really appreciate that support.
Yeah, I feel the same way about mine. And I think being an only child helped, but she never told me I couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say my mom, what I appreciate about her the most now, and I didn't growing up, is how she kept order. She was super clean. OCD, her picture is next to it. She would, but she kept order in the house, and I really appreciate that as an adult now. And I guess I'm probably the same way now.
I always appreciated, my mom was very big on home cooked meals in the house. She cooked 4 days, sometimes 4 to 6 days a week when I was growing up, which is unheard of now. But even in my house, I don't like cooking like that. But now as an adult, I appreciate it that much more because I know about the mental labor that goes into going to the grocery store, picking out recipes, putting it all together. And my mother, I'm one of 6 children. Mm-hmm. So I always appreciated how and she was always very adamant about us eating dinner together. And I think that's one of the things that kind of helped foster different sibling relationships and connections. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that now as an adult I appreciate about my mom.
That's a good point. That made me think about, I remember getting off the bus and smelling the food as I was walking up to the house. And that's a memory that I forgot. So
when you can smell it outside
really,
the house.
Yeah, she was really big into cooking too. My mom was.
For me, it's her emotional support, because my father is more the protector, the giver, and his kind of support is more man up and do it.
Yeah.
So my mother being there and really, going through the steps with me really helps me. My mom, like you guys said, she was very serious about her homemaking. She is very affectionate, and she's always been like my soft parent. Like who I go to when like I know like sometimes you just need a good cry or like you're confused. She's my soft parent. She's like my safe place. So I always appreciate that about her.
That's beautiful.
It's a lot to appreciate about my mom because she does it all. If you know her, she is a manager for everybody. But like me and my brother, like we say, like she's a momager, and she did not like let us doubt ourselves or question ourselves, like not even once. And if we did, she always had an answer. She always had something for us to do, or to if we didn't do it right, she would help us and help us get there. But I don't know, to pick one that I appreciate the most would probably be just her ability, especially now, to listen and to kind of, even if she's upset or emotional, because we're both emotional, we're very emotional. So even if she needs like to step away for a moment, I know like she's actually going back and thinking on it, and she will listen. Actually, not even like just with her words tell me like she hears me, but she will show it and she will get better instantly. So I love that about her because it shows me that I can always improve.
That's a rare quality where they actually
Rare.
like sit back, take it in, and then change.
Yes.
You know, sometimes it can be a little
Yes.
right.
But kudos to you for recognizing that in her too.
Exactly. Yeah.
How would you like define your relationship with your moms? Because we recognize the good parts, but there are some less than good parts. So how would you like growing up kind of define it? How would you take the good and bad and define your relationship?
My mom and I, we don't always vibe. We don't. She is like really clean, girly, and prissy, and she's very sensitive, and I'm not like, I would want her to be more of a, probably like what you were saying, like your dad is like the man up kind of parent. I probably need that from her, but that's not who she is. And I think that sometimes our personalities clash where, you know, I'm probably telling her sometimes like, you know, why are you so sensitive about that, you know? And I've had to take a step back and honor who she is, because that sensitivity is important. And I also see how it is it's a value add because she is so sensitive. That's kind of how we grew up with things in order, and you know, her cooking and keeping things clean. And I'm learning to love that about her more now as an adult. But you know, we do clash because sometimes I want her to be more firm and more brave. I don't always see her as brave, and I'm still working through that because it can be a little challenging for me to connect with her, you know, within her sensitivity.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, because my relationship with my mother, I had to think a lot about what do I want to say and how do I want to say it. And I would just describe my mother and I's relationship as kind of like Neapolitan ice cream, you know? It's just depending on the day, you get a different taste. But I will say that as we moved like from my very hormonal teenage years into me becoming an adult, and especially now me expecting a little girl, it's kind of like, okay, now I can look back, thank you. I can look back and be like, okay, there were times where we had so much friction, we couldn't even see each other. Okay, from like 20 to like 21, 22-ish, you know? Yes, you know, it'd be hard. It'd be real hard. But we have really fought really hard to like keep finding each other.
I love you said that because I feel like that's how I describe my relationship with my mom. It's always been loving, but it's been complicated. I feel like even at a young age, the reason why it was kind of complicated, we like interchanged when we depended on each other. And you know, when you're a kid, like, you know, you're not really supposed to like hear about everything and know about everything and really like be that emotional support person. Like that's not a child's place. So we kind of like interchange those roles, and that's why it's like when I got in my early 20s, it started to cause a little bit of friction because I realized some of the stuff like it wasn't okay. And I felt like I was her like emotional dump site. And as a child, like you don't even realize it, but you take all that in and it becomes really heavy. And I resented my mom for that for a while. But then, like you said, like you have to know the person before the parent. And that's where we're at now. Like, you know, she's always been my mom and I always held her to, you know, you got to be on that mom level. Like, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, and I was angry when she didn't meet those standards. But then learning about her story, like she had sat down and had a conversation with me one day and was like, you know, I may not have been the perfect mother, but, you know, I'm a human being. Like I make mistakes. Like, you know, my life has not always been easy. And though she did not use that as an excuse, it helped me empathize with her and give her that grace, because I'm like, even as a young adult now, I'm making mistakes and I wouldn't want someone to hold that against me forever. But it's still like very a conflicting feeling because I'm like, that's not right. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you feel this way? Like, but I also get the person that she is. I had to meet Beverly, not just my mom.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I want to hear about the younger mom and daughter relationships. Because, like I said, 15 through 16, 17 through 18, 19 through 20, 13 through 14. It was, whew. We don't talk about those years.
Definitely mine. Rough. And definitely learned since I love that you said you have to find each other. I love that because me and my mom, we definitely had to just find who we are, because she's like, me and my brother and my sisters had the conversation with her how she was stuck kind of and kind of raising us like we were still 10 or 13, and like she would say, I know y'all, y'all don't have to tell me anything, I'm your mother. We're like, you don't know us. She was telling us stuff about ourselves. We're like, that's like 10 years ago, Mom. Like, what are you talking about? So like she had to relearn us, but we also had to learn her. And when I was growing up, before we had the conversation when I was 15, 16 about our relationship, I kind of felt like I was raising her and my dad, because we weren't emotional at all in my house. We weren't, well, openly emotional. We were emotional, but it was met with like anger or we're gonna go away because we don't know how to talk to each other about our feelings. So when I told her that, I felt like I was raising her and my dad. I was trying to teach them. I was the one that picked up the slack, and I was trying to teach them, this is what I need, this is what y'all should have did, stuff like that. So I kind of, like you said, resented them for it, because I shouldn't be doing this. I should be raised with emotional security and openness in my house. I shouldn't be 13, 15, or even 18 trying to do it. But they did learn and we're better for it. So like how you said that we have to learn and find each other, because that's what I've been doing for the past.
My mom, our relationship, I was a very shy kid. So she was like I said, she's kind of always been my person. She's always been my best friend. But I will say that like, when you're younger and you're a kid, like you don't know, like, you don't realize your mom is like a person. You don't realize like she has bad days, she gets tired, she's not a superhero all the time. Like she can't be perfect all the time. So like I would get frustrated with her at times, but then like when I started getting older and she started having these more adult conversations with me, and like I really like, I swear I like just within like this past year, I feel like I didn't know her. I did not know, like I knew her personality, but I didn't know like how she got to where she got. I didn't know her backstory. I didn't know what made her the woman that she is today. But my mom has always been like my best friend with boundaries. So it's like we talk to each other about everything. I know how she grew up. I know what she had to go through. I know her relationship with her mother. And it kind of made me realize like why she struggles with what she struggles. And she's worked really hard to make sure that she doesn't project the same things on me. So I really do appreciate her, because we are very similar and we go through similar struggles. But like there's many things that she's like blocked up and worked through. So it's not, around me.
Yeah, I feel like I can resonate with that. I grew up in a household where my parents did a good job of just like being parents and like all of the extra things of life, how you talked about like it being like an emotional whatever, like I never experienced that, right? But I think even in that, where we did begin to struggle as I grew older is I always had a mom who was a mom, but when I grew older and I needed like a friend and I didn't need that mom anymore, you know, older teens, especially into like early adulthood. And especially now that I'm 30, you know, over 30, I want a friend, you know, I just want to be like, Mom, guess what? Let me tell you this. And we went through this battle, this period in that zone of where it was like, I had to like, let her know, like, I don't need you to be a mom anymore. Like, good job. You did that part. Now I need you to make a transition. So I think that was our butting heads because she didn't necessarily understand that, you know, and it's just like, well, what do you mean you don't want me to check on you? You don't want me to call you 500 times a day. Like, I don't need that anymore. Like, I'm grown now. Now I need you to be a friend. And since I had that conversation, even though that was like a hard period for us, we evolved. And now I can say that she's my best friend and we talk about everything all the time, every day. So yeah.
I wanted to kind of touch on that also because we had like the opposite. My mom, she was always a mom and always doing like what we needed, but I guess kind of coming from her relationship with her mother, maybe that's what it is. She wanted to be my friend also. So from like a young age, she would kind of, you know, moms want to know things or they want to talk about this or just kind of, I wasn't ready for that. And I wanted like a mother like that would check on me emotionally, but I didn't know how to voice that at like before 15. So it was just like, go away. She was like still trying to just like be my best friend. I was like, no, we're not like that. We don't have that yet. So that's how like we grew up. Like it was the opposite. Like I was like, Mom, please don't try to be my friend. Like you're not 15. You're not gonna get it. So that's what she kind of gets now. Is kind of just be the emotional support mom and not like my best friend girl.
Yeah.
So.
I fought my mom on her being my best friend, but I realized since she's a therapist, she's gonna want to talk to me.
Oh, your mom's a therapist.
Another one. That's like a good and a bad thing. Does she be like dissecting you when y'all argue?
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's something that bothers me, like that whole kind of like what you were saying about like sometimes I don't like my mom with her sensitivity, like stop trying to dissect me. Like yo, like you really don't know. like just be there, but like stop trying to dissect me. You know? And my mom, like even when it came to like me dating, she'll be like, send me a picture because I can like, no, you don't know. Like let me try to like just kind of be supportive without like being too much. Like just relax.
I guess like in my earlier years, like I always thought it was my mom. It's like she was one of my best friends, like my mom, my sister, and my grandma. Like it was just like the four amigos. Like I really loved that, you know, she tried to do stuff like be our friend, but not really in a sense. We knew she would give us that look and like, yeah, okay. But it would also be like, she had like a kid-like heart. Like she wanted us to have fun and make sure like, you know, cause she grew up the first 12 years of her life as an only child. And so she always made sure like, and in Jamaica was kind of different. So she was, you know, really trying to just look after herself and, you know, it wasn't too much playing. So she really like made sure when we were younger that we had the opportunity to play every kid-like activity that we did. Like she was, I would say she was one of my best friends, like growing up.
I was just going to say, I think what helped because I experienced that phase similar to that, as I was kind of sort of explaining, what helped me was just being open, like straight up, like, because one huge difference between my mom and I is she's not as vocal as me. And I'm very like confident and vocal. Like I'm gonna just tell you like it is. That's pretty much how I am with anything, which can be a good or a bad thing. But even with my mom, even though I had some pressure to like get to that place with her, I knew that when I felt a certain type of way, I had to just sit her down and be like, look, this is what I need from you. And this is the type of relationship I want with you. And that kind of helped, just me being straight up with her. And it was kind of like she was taken aback, but she listened. And so I don't know if you've ever been able to be that forward, you know what I mean? But maybe that could be something that could potentially help you to get to that place.
My parents' relationship was pretty complicated. My dad was in the military. He was away a lot. So she was the parent that was always there when I needed her, regardless of what our relationship was like at the time. Like she was always there.
Like I knew things were happening in my parents' marriage. And because of that, I felt really protective over my mother. And I saw her go through things with her mother, with her parents, how they would speak to her. And it just, you know, in my child mind, even now, you know, I'm just like, I don't want to be another person that makes my mom cry.